Welcome to Insights for Business Owners. In this episode, we have Brian Mohoric, who's a partner and a senior wealth advisor at Composition Wealth. Brian, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks, Dave. Great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, well, it's so great to find you because you are an expert in an area which is very hard to find people who are experts in 401ks and ERISA plans. And so one of the things, we do in our M&A deals is we try to have people review those at a selling company. And maybe you can talk a little bit about, how you do that and the important things to look for.
Sure, and thanks for that tee up. And I will say that just to give a little bit more background,
Yeah,
I
that's
try not to
perfect.
use the word expert because boy, that really sets the bar pretty high. Let's say
Yeah.
specialist. Okay,
Specialist. I like that. Yeah,
specialist.
specialist.
I started my 401k life as a third-party administrator, so TPA.
Okay.
TPAs, if they're for people who don't know what that is kind of an offshoot of the CPA world. TPAs for
Oh,
401k plans specialize in filling out one specific tax return, Form
hmm.
5500,
Okay.
and all the things around that. So a 401k plan has to file a return just like a person or a business does. And
Mm-hmm.
so all of the laws related to ERISA, the Employee Retirement Income Security Act,
Mm-hmm.
governs how those things run. A
Nice.
TPA builds their service model around that. Some TPAs are independent. Some TPA work is bundled with providers that offer investments. So
Okay.
bundled and unbundled are two different tracks. Typically, for a small business, you'll see 50-50,
Okay.
independent, bundled or unbundled.
Mm-hmm.
When so I was a TPA for 17 years, and
Wow.
then I became a financial advisor because there was a missing link between the
Okay.
nuts and bolts of how you administer a plan and
Yep.
actually delivering it to the end user, which is the employees and the owners of
Mm-hmm.
the company. So now that was 10 years ago. So we mashed that up together. 27 years of 401k experience from
Nice.
first inception to people are saving money and retiring, and then
Yep.
the other activity, which is what brought us together, and that's when
Yeah.
one company buys another. What do we do if they both have plans?
Right.
So
Right. Right.
and I'm also going to add, just recently in the last year, my smaller firm was acquired and merged with Composition Wealth. So I have
Wow.
personally gone through taking a 17-person company that I was co-owner with and
Mm-hmm.
merging with this larger firm. So I've
Which is
helped
great.
helped people do buying and selling of companies and 401k plans, and I've actually
Yep.
done it as an owner and a participant now. So I think that adds
Oh,
some value to the specialist background there.
so valuable. There you have it. You've experienced it. So now when you go in as an advisor, you're not only speaking from all your industry experience, but your life experience of
Yeah,
being a seller, and
Rich, I
selling a
think
company.
we probably can agree on that life experience and street smarts sometimes trump book smarts over
I
time.
think 100%. Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for filling in
So,
that background. That's really helpful. Yeah, yeah.
so when one business is going to buy another, if they both have a plan, it's important that each side understand what's going on with that plan. That's the due
Yeah,
diligence that you mentioned. And so
yeah.
who are how many people are in the plan, what's the assets in the plan, what vendors are being used,
Mm-hmm.
what's the structure of the plan. Is it a 401k, is it a 403b, is it a 457, is it a
Mm.
cash balance or a pension plan, or all the various flavors of a
Yeah,
retirement plan. Typically it's a 401k,
yeah.
or a simple IRA for smaller businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one very small part of all of the things that you do in helping people transact each other. But there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it's an iceberg situation where the
It
thing that
is.
you see above the waterline, there's a lot of stuff that goes underneath it. So that due
Mm-hmm.
diligence of understanding what they have helps you decide how much of the I'm going to mix my metaphors, how much of the onion needs to be peeled to really dive into it.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah,
Sometimes it's
yeah.
pretty simple, uh, or uncomplex, and sometimes it's very complex. The thing that's lurking under there and
Mm-hmm.
important in doing this due diligence is that the buyer if
Yep.
they're going to absorb the plan,
Right.
inherits whatever errors or warts exist in that plan's history.
Right.
So typically, us advisors or consultants are going to recommend that the seller terminate their plan
Okay.
as part of the transaction, and then all of those employees then become new employees in the new
Hmm.
firm's entity.
Yep.
There can be, it's possible, and I've done it, where you merge the plans. So
Oh, you can merge the plan. I did
you
not know
can
that.
merge the plans, and
Wow.
eventually the seller's plan gets terminated. And that
Okay.
merging process is actually much easier for the participants because they don't have to do a thing.
Whoa.
My
Okay.
plan has been absorbed into the other. So if you have, I don't want to bury too much terminology, but if we've got a safe harbor 401k with a really
Yeah.
specific kind of match, and we've got a safe harbor 401k on the buyer side, and they're exact and they have the same eligibility standards, merging them is
Hmm.
quite easy.
Yeah.
And there's some cases where they might be using the same vendors, for example. Well, then it's super simple. But
Can I can I ask you, sorry, about, and
no,
I am, we are going in the weeds here, but this is important, I think. Can you describe what a safe harbor 401k is? And then I think there's a couple other types, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Typically, well, a safe harbor 401k is just a kind of design that satisfies a really important testing feature that goes on in a 401k plan. That test
Hmm.
specifies how much an owner can save into the plan. Owners come with a designation called highly compensated employee,
Okay.
HCE. So a typical standard 401k plan has this test that compares owners versus staff.
Yep.
And the average savings rate of the staff will
Yep.
dictate what the average savings rate of the owners can be.
I
So
see.
we just used a quick example. If you had 10 employees
Yep.
and five of them were saving 6% of their pay and five of them were not participating at all, those 10 people averaged 3% of pay across the 10 of them.
Yeah.
In that example, the owners or the highly paid, because there's a
Yeah.
compensation figure that affects it, but let's just focus on owners. The owners could only do 2 percentage points above the average
Oh, five.
of the so three average of
Really?
that crew. The owners could only do
Five.
5% each. So if your staff saves less, the owners can
What?
save less. The
But
methodology behind that, I always try to put myself in the shoes of the policymakers, which can be a dangerous
yeah.
boat to
Yeah.
do. But the methodology being business owners are leaders of their crew, and you can incentivize your. We want to put something to incentivize behavior. So let's put
Right.
some leverage on the owners to make
Hmm.
sure their people are participating. Well,
So, but that's totally out of their control. I mean, not totally,
yeah,
but partially out of their control.
absolutely. I totally agree. So
That's
about 10
wow.
years, 15-ish years of existence of 401ks being so important in retirement savings, Congress got their act together and heard a lot of feedback from practitioners and business owners saying, hey, that's pretty onerous. What can we do to alleviate it? So
Yeah.
safe harbor rules were developed. And
Okay.
the term safe harbor appears 1,000 times in the tax code, but it's become kind of
Yes.
a branded moniker for 401k plans now.
Okay.
Safe harbor 401k says if you do one of two specific benefits from the business, so you're required to give a contribution.
Yep.
A non-safe harbor 401k, you don't have to do a match. It could be just
Okay.
a deferral program, very low participation. So safe harbor 401k says you either give 3% automatic gift contribution to everybody. It's called a non-elective contribution. I just call it a gift. I'm going
Yep.
to give you 3% of your pay whether you sign up or not.
Nice.
Or a matching benefit. And there's several different ways, but the most common is a dollar for dollar match up to 4% pay. So
Okay.
3% to everybody or a 4% match. You pick which one you are.
Yep.
And by doing that benefit, and you hand out a notice saying this is what we're going to be, and you have to lock it
Yep.
in for the year. So in my small business, when
Yep.
I owned my small business, we did a safe harbor
Yep.
4% match, and in doing
Yep.
that match, it doesn't matter how much participation of the staff. So the owners can
And
all save the maximum amount of their pay. They don't have
mhm.
to worry about percentage of stuff, and that is very advantageous, Dave, in an S corporation environment. where maybe you kept your wage fairly low and you've got a whole bunch
Right.
of dividend
Yep.
draw you're getting,
Yep.
you can only look at W-2 wages when it relates to a 401k plan. So if you have somebody that's pulling $80 to $100,000 in W-2 wage and they've got a whole bunch more coming in draw, that's all invisible. So
Right.
on the
Yeah.
wages, if that's a 50-year-old owner and they want to save 30,000 of
Yeah.
their $80,000 wage, that's a very high
Right.
percentage of their wage, and it would kill that test that looked
The
at
test. Yeah.
percentages.
Yeah. Yep. That's great.
So
No, and yeah.
Safe Harbor plan also works excellent, works very well for spousal teams too. Perhaps where
Yes.
you have one spouse pulling a higher wage and another spouse that's getting 30 to 50,000 or something like that. That person can still max out the 401k, and it might be 80% of their wage, 90% of their
Right.
wage.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so is that one of the first things you're looking at when you're reviewing plans, like, in diligence, is what type of election, I guess, is it? I don't know if it's called an election. And are they following the rules? Like, that's
Yeah.
probably the number one question.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what kind of employer benefit is going in? Because
Employer benefit. Okay.
that really sets the stage for how much in depth the plan goes. If it's just a
Yeah.
salary deferral program and there's no match or profit sharing going in from the business, then all we're really paying attention to from a due diligence standpoint is, are people being allowed to sign up? Are they
Yep.
participating, and are they making timely deposits of
Yep.
deferrals? You are given 7 days from the date of payday to physically deposit the 401k dollars that you withheld
Wow.
from somebody's compensation. And if you don't, that's a compliance problem. So that honestly is the biggest pitfall small businesses have.
Yeah.
And so let's just take that a little bit further, Dave. If
Yeah.
I'm doing due diligence for a buyer and I look at
Yep.
the seller's plan and they've
Mhm.
got spotty timeliness on doing those deferral deposits, so maybe it's 5 days one time and then it's 10 days another time.
Right.
That late deposit, anything past 7 days from payday,
Yep.
that's a penalized thing. And
Wow.
so if that plan was to be audited by the Department of Labor or the IRS, or one of those employees whistle blew,
Oh yeah.
which can happen, just to file a complaint, for example,
Hmm.
then the Department of Labor could come in, audit the plan, and the audits aren't necessarily going to be a huge penalty, but they're gigantic time suck. And you
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
hire professionals to help you. And if the buyer absorbed that plan, they're going to
Mhm.
inherit the penalties and the time to figure that
Right.
out,
Mm.
which takes us back to that inception thing where it's kind of smart to terminate that other plan
Terminate.
from the buyer side in most cases.
And let me ask too, with the Form 5500s, are you looking at whether it's been fully funded? Like, and how do you tell that? Like, do you have to run back like payroll or
Yeah,
like true that up? Or
the 5500 is really just big picture 30,000 foot information. How many people are in the plan? What kind of design element is? There's some codes that go in there that tell you whether it's a 401k and whether it has a match and those kinds of
Yep.
things. So how many people are in it? How much money was saved? Personal wages versus company contributions. It'll ask you, did you deposit things on time? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Are there loans? Those kinds of
Oh.
answers help you know how much more to dig. But to truly find out whether
Yeah.
there are speed bumps and pitfalls in there defined, you have to go look at the accounting that was done by the administrators that are running the plan.
Is that at the TPA level or?
Yeah, the TPA,
Yeah.
or if it's a bundled plan, the record keeper vendor is going to have some documentation on deposit trail. So I would start with just 1 year looking back on, can you just show me the transaction history so I can see that things that were
Yeah.
withheld, things that were withheld from people's pay, that they were timely deposited.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
usually,
But if you terminate, yeah.
if that all looks fantastic, that reduces the spotlight intensity, I would suspect.
But if you terminate the seller's plan, you kind of all of that liability sort of stays with the seller.
Correct.
Okay, so that's
Correct.
a good step. But then if there are problems, the seller then has to clean that up with the Department of Labor upon sale, like basically,
The process of terminating your plan,
mm.
you have to go through a final review, as it
Oh,
were.
you do? Oh,
Does the plan have all of the amendments required by law on the structural legal documents? If it doesn't, you have to adopt a bunch of amendments. A
mm-hmm.
plan that terminates has to prove that it's in good order before it's
Mm.
completely gone away.
Wow.
And in the olden days, you used to have to apply for a letter from the government saying,
Really?
yes, this plan can be terminated. Well, in today's environment, if you lean on the people who are helping you run the thing, you're typically going to be okay. But if you're buying
Okay.
a company, if the seller is a firm that's been around for a really long time, and maybe they've had a 401k plan dipping back into the 90s or even longer,
Right.
there's a chance that there's could be some legacy stuff in there that you need to kick the rocks over a little bit.
Wow. Two questions. One, do you and your firm do that evaluation to kind of sign off on the closing of a 401k
No,
or no? No.
I know enough to ask the right kind of questions to
Yeah.
point back to the people who are doing it.
Okay.
So that
Yeah.
you would want to have an attorney on your side to give those formal opinions,
Mm-hmm.
because
An
then
ERISA attorney, I
the
guess. Like,
ERISA attorney is the one that has
yeah.
to defend it. Now, I will
Yeah.
say, in the kinds of things that you and I are doing for smaller companies, we can
Yeah.
give them enough information to make good judgments. But if we need to get formality and all that kind of information, you want to make sure you have an ERISA attorney available on your team,
Yeah.
or the seller has service providers that will say, in our opinion, this thing is rock solid.
Mm. And then what kind of delay is that, kind of like to close and wrap up the seller's 401k before the employees can roll money into the buyer's 401k? Does that take some time? Or?
Yeah, there's multiple levels to that. So when a transaction goes down, employees are terminated from the seller's side and they are hired on the buyer's side.
Right, right.
So those employees can start participating in the buyer's 401k plan based on whatever
Immediately.
the eligibility criteria are there. And
Right.
as a side note, typically when you're a buyer, you want to recognize service with the seller's organization so that those people can participate right away, rather
Yes,
than
yeah.
making them wait for. You could
Right, right.
say we have a 3 or 6 month, 9 month waiting period, and maybe that's
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
trying to figure out who's the best or who
Yeah.
isn't. But typically,
That
you
wouldn't go
want
over well.
you want to
Yes.
bring over all the employees and make them feel like
Yeah,
they're part of your family right away. So you would
of
have them
course.
be part of the benefit. So they
Yeah.
can start participating right away. As a terminated employee from a company that had a 401k plan, you
Yep.
can then roll over your money.
Mhm.
If it's a well-run, modern 401k plan, it's fairly quick. I'd say
Okay.
a couple months. You might
A
need to
couple months
wait.
though.
You
Wow.
might
Okay.
need to wait for the other firm to finish doing their matching benefit and the service providers to dot their I's and cross their T's to make sure that the plan is looking good before they release the rollover. But generally for line staff, it
Hmm.
can be 3 months or less.
Okay.
A good example would be if you quit your job and went and got a job somewhere else. It takes
Right.
a little time for you to get the money rolled over from your previous job.
Right.
Same analogy applies to
Same
this.
analogy. And can
Now,
you roll over equity investments, or do you just get cash? You have to cash out and roll over cash, or
the law allows physical in-kind things, stocks
yeah,
and
yeah,
bonds and mutual funds.
yep.
As if I was representing the buyer, you would never want to do that. You would want to allow just a cash rollover to come in, and
Oh,
that's typical in today's environment.
and is
Most
that a liability aspect as well, or
It just makes it cumbersome. It makes it
I see.
cumbersome. Most 401k plans that have been written in the last 10 years, Dave, are focusing on mutual funds.
Oh,
Most
right, right.
401k
ETF.
plans don't have individual stocks within them.
Right, right, right.
But
That makes sense.
if you have a 401k and you're a participant and you own shares of Apple or Microsoft or
Yeah.
whatever, if you sell those, our brains think, oh, I'm going to have capital gains. That doesn't apply. And
Right.
if you're transferring it from a tax qualified plan and rolling it over into another tax qualified plan, there are no tax hits on that until you receive the money and spend it, hopefully in retirement.
In retirement, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, this is perfect because this leads right into kind of your post-close services
Yeah.
for the buyers, and how can you help them set up their new plan?
And one of the things that you and I chatted about when we first met was that once a transaction is done, most of the parties that have been involved in the due diligence and consulting move on to the next deal.
Right,
And then the
right.
seller and the buyer are left going, oh, now what do we do? Now,
Where is everybody?
there's a good roadmap for most things, but the 401k
Yeah.
plan and other benefits just they're complex.
They are.
So if the buyer already has a plan, they've probably got some service providers that are helping them, but maybe they're not consultative level service providers. Maybe it's a turnkey bundled 401k that they got from their payroll provider, which is quite common. Those folks, they're fine, but they don't have maybe the level of expertise that you need to dive into these particulars of helping somebody come into the plan. So a specialist like myself, I'm a financial advisor that knows all of the rules, but you can also find a really good quality TPA that's local that you can make eye contact with or come talk to your people. Obviously, in today's world, we can do everything electronically and remote. I guess I shouldn't focus on geography. Helping the owner know how to onboard all of those new hires. And sometimes folks they take on the macro in their head, and we need to remind them just one step at a time. Let's just pretend that these 10 people that you have acquired are just new hires. You've had a big hiring move. We have 10 people to onboard to your plan. The other side, on the seller side, there are 10 employees that no longer are employed there, and they need to be transacted that way. How you handle the owners or the people who have the most money in the plan, that is where it gets a little bit more complex, because you want to make sure that those folks are taken care of. They're going to be maybe your rainmakers or your key people. They're going to help you run this new organization that you've acquired. You want to make sure those folks are happy. So it's good to, if the seller side didn't have good communicative consultation, then a firm like mine or myself could help be the quarterback of the whole situation. And
that's great.
Drive it. So you just needed somebody that knows enough about the whole process that they can smooth over the waters and not have it be a stressful situation, because it can be.
Oh my gosh. Well, and what's great is that you could be one of those people that's with them throughout the process, pre-close.
So, I would be available to help coach all the things that need to happen. I would be available to help coach making them happen. But then I'm also available to service an ongoing plan afterwards. Awesome. So a majority of my work, Dave, and thank you for asking, is that I service actively happy running 401k plans.
It's great.
How do we design this thing to be beneficial to the owners and to the staff? How do we pick the right thing, the right vendors to provide the right service model that makes everybody enjoy this benefit? And then lastly, having a specialist advisor, I guess I'll just focus on me, a specialist advisor like me that wants to come teach and educate your staff on financial wellness, how much to save into the plan, and why you should do this. And it promotes the benefit, so you get a bigger bang from your buck as a business owner.
Well, and I love the fact that you come from a small business background.
Yes.
And so you're thinking, because, these are 10, 20, maybe 30 employee companies, sort of max.
Yes.
And so you're thinking of it from that owner's perspective too, because you've been there, you've lived it, and you're thinking, all right, so let's set up a plan that also covers you, the owner, because this is your whole retirement is this idea, and so it's got to work for you as well. Like, you've left corporate America, you're not just getting a nice, 401k match. Like, your retirement is this investment. You've gotten a loan, you've bought it, and so I love it fits really perfectly with our niche as well.
Well, yeah, absolutely. If I'm a business owner, the filter is I'm offering this benefit, and
Yeah.
it's a cost to me.
Yes.
And are my people using it? And if they're not,
Right.
how do I get them to use it more? Why are they not
Yeah.
understanding the value that there is here? What can we do to promote it? Is it
Yep.
worth my effort? I know that I can save, but maybe what can we do to make it be a benefit that's worth our time and effort? That's
That's
one part
awesome.
of it. The other part of it is just as leaders that understand this stuff, I think that
Yep.
we have a moral responsibility to teach
Mm,
people about how to save for retirement. Americans are
absolutely.
terrible savers. And
Terrible. Great
and
spenders, Brian. We're great spenders.
401k plans are the way to save for retirement. Yes, there's
Yeah.
Social Security, but there are no more pensions.
No.
Big pension plans that don't exist for small businesses anymore, and
No.
so it's up to us to save along the way. And so
Absolutely.
there's a teaching that goes on there, and you know this as well as anybody. But when you have employees that are secure in their finances, when you're teaching them financial wellness things, and they
Mhm.
know how to do a budget, and they understand the value of these things and taking advantage of it, they're less stressed out,
Right.
which then also means they're more productive and happy people at the
Yeah.
office place. Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Less turnover. They're more efficient, more effective.
Yep.
They're collaborating better. Yeah, and that's a great kind of final point. This is good for business in the end. It's good for a business owner to, if they can, offer this and do it well.
Yeah. A
Um,
401k plan is a wonderful benefit to offer. And sliding the topic just a little bit, business owners get so focused on building their company and doing the best they can at whatever product they're offering, whether it's a service or a widget, that they don't save enough for themselves along the way. They
Definitely.
understand that they're going to be able to transact this thing hopefully and get a really nice multiple on their EBITDA when it's time.
Right. Right.
But why not be funding this thing along the way so that you are
Yeah.
diversifying yourself and not just having all of your assets in that closely held business? Why not
Absolutely.
be saving into this 401k plan? Get your spouse or your kids involved in participating in that
Definitely.
too, so that you're building up some cash value alongside the
On
value
top of it.
that you built on top.
Yeah. No, and with the safe, like you said, and with the safe harbor, for a small business owner, it's very tax advantaged.
Absolutely,
Um,
it's tax advantage.
you
So
know,
you get a tax deduction for having made that matching benefit to
the match.
yourself and
Yep.
your staff.
Yep.
And then a more sophisticated thing, we'll just leave a little teaser. You can actually do profit sharing. And we
Yes.
put quotes around the word profit because you don't even have to be profitable to make a
Is
profit
that right?
sharing contribution.
I did not know that.
You can
You
even
can
have
still
a
lose money and
nonprofit.
profit share?
You can
Wow.
have a nonprofit making a profit sharing contribution, which sounds incredibly counterintuitive. A profit sharing contribution, another term for it, is a non-elective benefit. You
Mm,
as a business owner can put money into the plan that the employees didn't have to elect to do anything to receive it. So for example, let's say
yeah.
that you've got a typical program of doing a bonus for your staff.
Yeah.
And I'll use myself for example. Years
Yeah.
ago, in a company that I was helping run and I was part owner in, we would do a 6% annual bonus to our
Yep.
staff. And at
Yeah.
one point, we kind of sat down and looked in the mirror and said, well, what getting money in the wallets is really important, and that's
Yeah.
wise, and everybody, staff really love that. But how about if we take half of it and put it
Yep.
into the retirement plan, and then
Mm-hmm.
so 3% bonus into paychecks, 3% going into the plan.
Yep.
So we're practicing what we preach. We're helping
Yep.
people move the ball further down the field for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
But then, just from a business owner's perspective, that 3% of money that went into the plan is a
Mm-hmm.
less expensive dollar
It's
because
not
it's just off your business overhead. There are
top
no
line.
payroll taxes.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
when you
Right.
give a bonus, you've got
Yeah.
Social Security, Medicare, and unemployment, and all that kind of stuff.
uh,
So
no, that's a great point.
more bang for your buck that way.
Um, Oh, Brian, you are just a wealth of knowledge, and I'm sorry, I was kind of getting some questions in about my own life,
That's
here,
okay.
which
That's okay.
I got a great 401k expert right in front of me here. I love what you're doing, Brian, and this is so helpful for our clients because, like I said, you can be that bridge,
Sometimes it's
pre-close,
just helpful just
diligence,
to have somebody ask
you know.
questions to help
Yeah.
you figure it out. Yeah.
What's the best way for people to find you?
They can find me directly by emailing me. Our
Okay.
firm is Composition Wealth. It's
Composition Wealth.
composition.com. So my wife always
Composition.
says, like composition notebooks from when we were in English class?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Composition.com.
Composition.com.
Awesome.
My email address is bmohoric,
Okay.
BMOHORIC, at composition.com. And you can
Great.
find us that way. I'm also on LinkedIn, Brian Mohoric. There's
Okay.
not a lot of Mohorics, so
Right.
you should be able to find me. And I'm happy just to engage in a dialogue to see if there's a fit. I'm a
Great.
friendly, conversational guy. At least I perceive myself to be. And
Definitely.
so connecting with people and making sure that they getting the right resources is ultimately what we want to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all your knowledge.
Thanks, Dave. It's been
Yeah.
awesome chatting with you, and let's help people do this. Save for retirement, everybody.
Save for retirement. Bye-bye.